Andor is, I am firmly in the camp that Andor is my favorite thing on television that Star Wars has done. I like it more than Mandalorian, and I love Mandalorian. But, you know, from the first time I saw Andor, I was like, this is not Disney Plus. This is HBO.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is high-level writing. This is character drama. This is multi-dimensional individuals. This is incredible storyline and gripping drama without needing explosions all over the place or lightsabers or quick cameos or anything like that. It's just great, amazing drama. And I told you going into episode 5, I said, this is where the heist starts to come together. And I will tell you what, and again, we're going to have our open spoiler discussion of Andor season 3 or episode 5 at 3 p.m. later this afternoon, Los Angeles time. But I honestly think this was the best episode of the season so far. They do a number of things. They do some high level, like story narrative handling in this that is incredibly good. They tell us volumes of information with simple glances and imagery that they give. They do an amazing job of reference and then callback. They give depth to every single one of the characters in this thing, from various members of this ragtag group to the turncoat Imperial officer, all the way to, I always forget Stellan Skarsgård's name, Luthen? Luthen, like there's a scene with Luthen who's just standing there, I won't spoil anything, but standing there just kind of doing something. But we are seeing deep into the character in that thing and seeing elements of his emotions and his mental state at the time that didn't need to have 3 pages of dialogue to explain it. You know, visit again that disgraced corporate officer who had to go home to his mama.
Cyril.
Yeah, at the end of the last episode. There's a scene in this where he just is giving a look at something that, again, pages of dialogue. Other storytellers would have needed pages and pages and pages of dialogue to tell us something about this character. And Tony Gilroy told it all in a moment with the way he just looked at something. And I won't say what the something is, but the credits rolled on this episode and I was like, how can they pull this off? This is so next level storytelling. Star Wars has never done anything like this. I'm not saying Star Wars has never had anything better, Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back, but I'm just saying they've never done something like this. And I am ludicrously in love with this show at this point, and wait till you see episode 6. Anyway, Rob, you had a chance to watch this episode of Andor. Am I overly excited about it? How do you feel about it?
Dude, I echo your sentiments. I mean, I have to say, I never thought in my wildest dreams, we were talking about this before the show started, this episode opens with Cyril confronting his mom at the breakfast table when he's literally eating sugar pops or whatever.
You cannot, with blue milk. And you cannot take your eyes off the screen.
No, and his mother
talking to his mom.
But his mother is like, you know everything about this character because of his mom. This domineering, but she wasn't stereotypical, but she was, I mean, she's a I'm going to call the uncle, our uncle, and but you don't know him that well. It doesn't matter.
Let's not go into details.
But it was such a great, she was just, I recognize that mother. Let me put it that way. And we've never seen domestic, I mean, yeah, okay, Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen, we saw Luke in there talking, but not like this. Like, we're getting, what is life like in the Star Wars universe? Because we've always seen the heroes or the villains. We've never seen a slice of life. And that's what we're getting. And oh my God, there's domineering mothers everywhere, apparently. Mm-hmm. And I'm there for it.
Chris, I mean, one of the other things I loved was, you know, I mentioned before that I loved when we went to the ISB, when we went to the Imperial Security Bureau and you know, the white suits and stuff like that. We go back to that. They have their own mystery they're unraveling. And it's just like every level of this. I know you had a chance to see the new episode. What did you think about it?
There's such a good line in that scene, too, about that casework.
Oh, yes. We'll talk about that in the spoiler discussion. Yeah, the line is amazing.
Oh, I really enjoyed this. I love that we're getting the heist set up and everything, right? We're just building and building and building. This ragtag group, I am so invested in already, and I know I shouldn't be. My heart's going to get broken. So I was like, oh my gosh, there's so much depth to these characters and they've done it in such a short amount of time. I understand their viewpoints. I sympathize with some of them. I understand where everyone's coming from. The familial dynamics in this episode too, particularly when it comes to mothers, is so interesting. And there's so many fun parallels.
I love her.
Oh.
If the whole episode was just the dude and his mom talking
Oh my gosh.
at a breakfast table, I would still have been, I'd still be sitting
just
there
bossy
now.
mom and blue-eyed Ben Schwartz. I'd watch that show.
And then how about
Great.
Mon Mothma?
Well, yeah,
Exactly.
but again, they deepen our understanding of Mon
Yeah.
Mothma and the stuff going on in her life. I mean,
There were a
it's-
few things missing in that scene that I'd been promised in a way that had occurred off screen that I wish we had more of.
Right, and
But
we'll
but
discuss
talk about
that
all
more later. But I'll say this too. I remember a couple of weeks before Andor came out, and we were talking about the upcoming show, and I said, "Look, you always want your next installment of anything to be good," but I said, coming off of the disappointment that was the Book of Boba Fett, and coming off of, to me, the disappointment of Obi-Wan. I didn't hate Obi-Wan, but I was disappointed in it. Some people loved it, and that's awesome. But for me, coming off the disappointments of Book of Boba Fett and the disappointments of Obi-Wan, it's like Star Wars really needs this one to be a win. And like, it was almost like, okay, that sounds like a challenge. I've knocked it out of the park. And I continue to be floored by it every single time. And I cannot wait to get into the second half of the season. We're not even halfway through the season. That's the great thing about this.
I have a question because I haven't watched the episode yet. I'll do it in a little while after the show. But is that square and triangle what I think it might be? Or is that just like...
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Listen, when you actually go back, there have been tons of stuff online about going through his shop and little things. Like even Gungan electric shields is in the background one. If you go through all the different shots and angles, there's always some Easter eggs in there. It's like its own game unto itself. Anyway, we all loved this episode of Andor. Question is for you guys. What did you think about it? Maybe like, hey, listen, maybe you go to Star Wars and you're looking for the spaceships, lasers, and laser swords. And listen, that's nothing wrong with that if that's what you're looking for. And this show isn't delivering that, so that's fine. But or maybe you're like us and you just want to see some like really great drama brought into the world of Star Wars. Whatever you guys think about it, jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. Hey guys, we want to thank the sponsor of today's episode, Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile offers premium wireless starting at just $15 a month. And now for the plot twist. I'm just kidding, there isn't one. Seriously, Mint Mobile just has premium wireless service from $15 a month. There's no trapping you into a 2-year contract or opening the bill to find these crazy fees. There's no luring you in with free subscriptions to streaming services that you'll forget to cancel and be charged full price for. I used to dread opening my phone bill every month because every time I was opening it, it was like playing roulette. I never knew what the actual price was going to be, and it always seemed to get higher. But not with Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile gives you the best rate whether you're buying for one or a family, and at Mint, families start at 2 lines. All plans come with unlimited talk and text, plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. And if you're worried about the complication of switching things over, don't. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your phone number along with all your existing contacts. So guys, get premium wireless from just $15 a month and no unexpected plot twists at mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. Seriously, you'll make your wallet very happy at mintmobile.com/Campea.